So we got some unexpected news that just came up. It seems
Silent drop.
Oh yeah, just out of left field completely. So, War for Cybertron, Siege, the Titan class figure, Omega Supreme, has been revealed. We also got some other stuff too, but we're going to break it down piece by piece on the podcast here. So we have Siege, Titan class, Omega Supreme. We have a listing here of a release date of August 1st and a retail price of $159.99. So pretty much more or less what Titan classes have been going for up to this point. This thing looks really cool. We've seen prior to these images, we just saw that that little gray prototype.
Yeah, just something that's just not even focused on, just kind of like offhand talking about it, and like, wait a minute, what is that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we saw very little of this toy in its production and everything, and the closest we got of anything of this really was just the tank mode in its resin prototype in a video of an interview of the Hasbro team, and then it was like a screenshot of that video and people zooming in on it. It was a very terrible way to learn about the toy, pretty much. But this one here, we have official images now by Hasbro, and we even have the written information. I'll just it says here it's 2 feet in height. So that's pretty cool. It's once again another huge Titan class figure. It comes with Countdown. We kind of knew that before, but now we're 100% confirmed that it is Countdown, and they still have that IP. I believe they had that IP trademarked back in Universe 1.0. They had a character named Countdown. Excuse me, Universe 2.0. They had a character named Countdown, which was a repaint of Red Alert.
Okay.
From the Cybertron series, Galaxy Force. It says here it has the rocket, the tank, the control tower. It rides along the defense perimeter. It has 6 Fire Blast accessories, so it has the clip-on accessories that are now common with the Siege toys. It has a command center mode. Just everything going on here. And I mean, just looking at it, like, I love what they've done to that base mode. Like, I own the original Omega Supreme, and I really love what they did this time around, where it has like this elevated metro system, this elevated, where they could have just done something similar to the original, where it's on the ground, but they did it that it's like an elevated, almost highway kind of system. Very smart use of, because now Micromasters are kind of the name of the game now, so it really gives that crazy scale of a big city. It just looks really cool. It just looks really darn cool. It's a very good evolutionary transition of the original Generation 1 toy into this modernized design. Usually when you have kind of classics-like toys and Generation-like toys, sometimes there's a bit of a departure from the original design to modernize stuff. But here it looks spectacular. It really does. And I'm actually very excited about this. This is probably...
I was going to ask, do you think that the tank has an ulterior alt mode or something like that?
I'm going to assume that... I mean, see, I even have one question of myself is does the tank... Because the original Omega Supreme toy, if you put batteries inside the tank, it would actually go around the
track.
The track, pretty much. It doesn't have any major mention of that here, where it's like, you put in any kind of batteries, and there's the one throwaway line here: can ride along the defense perimeter. Now, I don't know if that means that it's going to work with batteries and it'll do that. I mean, looking at the pictures physically, it looks like, in theory, it could do that. Like it could ride along it, and it has like a little track that it could go along it. But I don't know. The original Omega Supreme, obviously the individual tank itself didn't have an alt mode. It just kind of, in a lot of ways, it was kind of one of the first ever parts formers.
Oh, okay.
And it also in a lot of ways was kind of one of the first ever power up combiners, in that, that whole tank piece made the chest and the head, and all the other parts made what is Omega Supreme.
Because
obviously
the reason I ask, because I'm just looking at the front part of the tank where the red is. So where the Autobots logo is, and then looking at the little 2 cannons on the side of where the it looks like arms. It looks like what could be arms because they're kind of tilted up, right?
So here's the thing. It pretty much looks like, I mean, outside of the part forming thing, it pretty much looks like it transforms 100% like the original Omega Supreme. And how that was is those things that look like arms, you are correct, they are arms. But really what they are is they're forearms. And which is when you would transform Omega Supreme, when that made the torso, the rocket station that's there splits into 2 pieces, and then those clip on top of those forearms to make the arms,
right?
To make the legitimate, like the 2 arms there. And so that was present in the original toy. That same kind of engineering kind of was transferred over with all the third-party versions of Omega Supreme throughout the years. So again, he was a toy that pretty much, while it did need modernization because of the original mold's origin with Toy Box and Korea and stuff like that. It was one of those toys that when they started making third-party versions and classics-like versions, they didn't have to change much. You know what I mean? It pretty much got it right the first time because the original 1985 character model by Flair O'Deary used in Season 2 really just looked at that toy and said, I'm going to try my best to use this big lumbering kind of design. So, but this looks spectacular. And I love that it comes with Countdown. Countdown, for people that don't know, he was the Micromaster that came with the big Countdown Micromaster base, also known as Zone base in Transformers Zone. You kind of see it in the intro of Transformers Zone, and it's just kind of cool that he's included. Kind of a very appropriate Micromaster to put with him because it's a space shuttle kind of playset, and Countdown came with a space shuttle playset also in a lot of ways that was a giant base. So this is a close proximity of that. It's okay. This looks great. It just looks absolutely great. I'm very excited about this. This is one of the few times that I look at one of these Titan class figures and go, I actually kind of want to have this in display in base mode. It actually looks like it would be really cool to have it in base mode and have all the Micromasters chilling on it. Because
I'm kind of just looking at it, just trying to figure out how I understand how the tank works. You just kind of put it right into the chest.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at the rocket and seeing like, okay, the top is his left arm, and then the bottom part is the right arm. Then what about all that extra bit in the middle? I guess that comes in on the back, like you can extend it, right? Because I'm looking
pretty much you have that middle section there that has. It's pretty much a backpack.
Yeah.
I'm saying the base mode.
Well, no, I'm saying the rocket itself. I think it's like a solid piece that you're going to extend, and then it's going to have the arms in there. Because I don't think the tank would be, with those little tiny arms, I don't think that'll be heavy enough to like ratchet those things on his forearms.
They actually do. If you've ever messed with the original Omega Supreme, what it does is those arms, when you transform them, when you kind of just split them outward. They extend a little bit too.
Yeah.
And then that giant rocket there splits in half down the middle, and then you're probably just going to clip it on the front ends of both of those, and it's just going to make it look more bulky and everything, and the articulation. And to be fair, the original Omega Supreme had a lot of articulation because of it. Same thing. Do
you think they'll keep the engineering the same, or they'll like actually try to go a little bit above and beyond?
The original Omega Supreme was a major parts former, like crazy parts former. Like even like you could lose the kneecaps and everything, like all these little pieces everywhere. With this one, it's pretty clear what they did. You put that tank thing, it goes inside that main base thing.
Like the chest area, I guess.
The chest area. You clip that down, and then under that main chest area is like the legs folded up under it. So you just fold those down, and then the pieces that make the track, you fold those up, and those go behind to make the wings. And then you just take, the only parts forming in this case is, again, that rocket that you split in half, and then it makes left arm and right arm, bada bing, bada boom, you're done.
I kind of want to believe that the tank does a little bit more, or something that they're not.
I think
I want to believe that there's this thing that's just there. Like I'm like looking at it.
I think I saw a photo online somewhere when they were kind of showing off the gray prototype. I saw something where the tank, I think, opened up and Countdown could go inside it. I saw something like that. I could be wrong. Someone in the comments.
I just want to believe there's something more to this tank.
Yeah,
but that just could be me, you know.
I'm thinking that if because again, the original had space for two AA batteries that originally ran that whole
AA, not triple, not D's or anything like that.
No,
just AA.
Oh no, D's would have been way too big. It was two AA batteries that went inside the chest.
I keep thinking Omega Supreme was way bigger than it actually is.
Oh,
you know
no. He was
Metroplex size?
Metroplex size and maybe even a little smaller. No, I would say hold on a second.
I'd say Metro.
I'd say Metroplex size, maybe a slightly bulkier, but he wasn't that large actually.
Okay.
It wasn't until like Scorponok and Fort Max came around in '87 did like they really shake up the size. Up to that point, like Metroplex and Blaster were kind of looking face to face in a lot of ways, so they weren't very large at the time. But this is spectacular. This is so cool. I really hope. I know it sounds silly. I really hope that I'll be able to get a second one of these on the cheap because I want to have it in robot mode. But I love that base mode. Like I have all the other base formers right now from Generations, and they're all in robot mode because I'm not really that much of a fan of the alt modes because I've never been really a big fan of Metroplex's alt mode. I've never really been a big fan of Fortress Maximus's alt mode, his base mode, and I've actually kind of liked his shuttle mode a little more. It was a little more iconic in relation to the Headmasters cartoon, and I like the base mode of Trypticon, but I don't want to take away from having a cool dinosaur. So I'm kind of like I had that kind of impasse too, and of course like the other big guy was Devastator, so that doesn't count.
Right.
So this is one where it's like, man, like that base mode looks really cool, and I really want to I'm going to get all these Micromasters, and I'm going to want to populate this base with all those Micromasters. In my own personal collection, I have the Zone base with Countdown, and it's populated with Micromasters because it's one of those things where if you have it on display, you kind of want to give it that ecosystem. So this is awesome. This is so cool. This is definitely something I'm going to do my damnedest to try to get. It is going to be pricey, but I feel that this one is kind of worth it. For Canadian listeners, I'm going to take a shot in the dark and say this is going to be like 200, 210 Canadian when this hits the shelves. And you're probably going to only have your chance probably with Toys R Us, which then begs the question, how is this going to be released in the United States? Is it going to be something where Target is going to carry it? Is Walmart finally going to make space for larger Transformer stuff like this and actually allocate the shelf space to it? They advertise here HasbroPulse.com, which is kind of a place where you could pick up Hasbro products. It's kind of like Hasbro Toy Shop. So that might be another option for at least American purchasers. It's very interesting, but we'll definitely talk more about it when we learn more about it. But as it stands right now, this is spectacular.